ESPN Blacksburg is W226AT Christiansburg, WPIN AM Dublin, and W246CR Christiansburg.
It's The Drive Sports Center at the top of the hour. The NFL season kicks off tonight as the defending Super Bowl champions Philadelphia Eagles will take on the Atlanta Falcons. This is a rematch of the NFC divisional matchup last year, with the Eagles winning that game 15-13. Kickoff is set at 8:20 p.m. tonight at Lincoln Financial Field. Tiger Woods is currently tied for first at the BMW Championship in Newton Square, Pennsylvania. Woods shot an 8 under 62 and is currently tied with Rory McIlroy, who also is at 8 under through 16 holes. Tomorrow, the Virginia Tech volleyball team has 2 games as part of the Bobcat Invitational in Athens, Ohio. Their first matchup is at 12:30 against IUPUIA, and at 7:30, they will be facing the Ohio Bobcats, who are the hosts of the event. For the ESPN Sports Center, I'm Trey Lyle.
It's time now for The Drive.
Alrighty then.
On ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1, 97.1, and live on the web at ESPNBlacksburg.com.
It's The Drive on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Thursday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. Trey Lyle is in the other studio taking your calls at 866-961-1430, 866-961-1430 is the number to call. You can also text us. The number is exactly the same. It is 866-961-1430.
Keep my hands to myself. No matter how hard I'm trying to.
Scott Nason.
I won't all to myself.
Scott Nason. Scott.
I love Scott. Like a love song, baby.
Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason.
Absolutely, let's go.
That's right. Scott Nason joining us this afternoon. How are you, my friend? Oh, jeez.
Wow, extra sound effect. They're doing wonderful, Paul, on this Thursday afternoon.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So getting ready to kick off the NFL season tonight. Are you excited about the NFL season kicking off, Scott Nason?
I am, but I'm kind of disappointed in tonight's game. Not that we're not going to see a couple, it's a double negative, by the way, but we're going to see a couple good teams. But I don't have any fantasy football players on 4 teams playing in this game, which I didn't think was possible. So I'm more excited for the games coming up this weekend. Of course, every NFL season, I'm always excited, so let the games begin.
Now I need to look. I wasn't even paying attention to that, whether or not I had players until just now. So I'm in way less fantasy football leagues than Scott. So 4 teams, 4 leagues, and you have nobody playing?
Yeah, hard to believe. In 3 countries, I might add, that these leagues are in. So I'm international. I
guess you
are. To quote Pitbull there a few years ago or whenever he was relevant. But nobody on Atlanta and Philadelphia. I was kind of surprised by that. But, that should be a very interesting game tonight. And if you have Carson Wentz on your fantasy team, you might want to sit him tonight as he will not be playing. Nick Foles, who, by the way, was the Super Bowl MVP, lest we forget, last year, going up against an Atlanta team that was good last year. I think they have a few more weapons this year. Matt Ryan, who didn't have his best season last year, I expect a bounce-back performance by him. So this is a pretty good matchup, all things considered.
Are you – I want to – and I agree with you. I think that this is going to be a good game, but I have Atlanta winning this thing in a rout just because I like to mess with Trey. Let's talk a little bit about the NFC North, a division that we are very familiar with. We just did our group pick'em here in studio, and I had the first pick when we came around to the NFC North. So I took Green Bay. I feel dirty about it. Make me feel better about it, Scott.
This week at home against Chicago, I think that is a very good pick. Green Bay, always plays well at home, as you know, and especially on a night game, and especially with Aaron Rodgers, who just signed that big contract, returning back to Lambeau Field. the Bears, their defense has vastly improved over the past week with the signing of Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much the offense has improved. Jordan Howard had a very nice year last year. We're going to see how he does this year. I have him on my fantasy team, at least a couple. But I still like Green Bay in that one. Give me Green Bay by 13. And I feel dirty, too.
Okay, all right, good. At least we feel dirty together. Are you buying Minnesota? A lot of people around here are. They think that Minnesota is going to be good again this year. I still feel like they were a flash in the pan last year that took advantage of an injured Aaron Rodgers. Good for them for doing it, but I'm not buying Minnesota. Are you buying Minnesota?
I am because of that defense. They return a lot of guys. I would think they're at least going to make the playoffs. Will they win the Super Bowl? Probably not. But you have Kirk Cousins coming in, replacing Case Keenum. You have their running back Cook back in the lineup, at least for now. You still have Thielen and Diggs, who I think are good wide receivers, not great wide receivers. They have a pretty solid tight end. But the schedule is going to be a little tougher this year. They are going to face Green Bay twice, you would think, with Aaron Rodgers. But I still like Minnesota. I do like them this week at home against San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, got that big contract last year, and a lot of pressure on him. Well, they lost their their lead running back in training camp, so a little more pressure on him. I am buying Minnesota. I think they're good, and I think they have a very good chance to win the division.
Make me feel good about the Detroit Lions, Scott.
Well, when they were 4-0 in the preseason about a decade ago, they went 0-16. Now, they did win a game in this year's preseason, but, boy, I'll tell you what, they did not look good at all. And, you go back to last year with New England and Matt Patricia being part of that coaching staff. Yeah, they didn't look good either in the preseason, really didn't look good the first couple of games before they turned it around. The difference is he's now coaching a team that's won one playoff game in 60 years. Mm-hmm. I'm a little nervous about this game against the Jets. I mean, it's a must-win for the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
You got to win that game if you're Detroit. But the Boo Birds have already been out in Detroit during the preseason a couple times after they were humiliated against Cleveland. Again, this is the reserves, not the starters. But, boy, I don't know. I think the Lions find a way to get it done Monday night against the Jets with a rookie quarterback. I certainly hope they do, being a Lions fan. But going forward, boy, a tough schedule to begin the season. I don't know, Paul. I don't know.
All right, rate Cleveland for me. You mentioned the fact that they beat the Lions in the preseason. I want your thoughts on Cleveland. I feel like this is a team that has a bunch of talent, and the question is, can they put it all together and win some games?
I think they do. Obviously, they're not going to go 0-16 again. You wouldn't think. They have improved a lot on both sides of the ball. I think more on the defense than we might have expected. And they're in a division right now that isn't the best division in all of football. I mean, you have Pittsburgh. You don't know what's going to happen there with Le'Veon Bell. I'm sure he will sign here sometime. It's probably next week at this point. Pittsburgh's the class of that division. They're not going to beat them, including this week at home. But you look at Cincinnati, they can beat them once. Who knows, maybe twice. Baltimore, a team that's still kind of just hanging around. I got Cleveland winning at least 5 games, maybe even 6 this year. I'm not going to go crazy and say they're going to win the division or even finish 500, but it's a vastly improved team. You can't get any worse than 0-16, Paul.
That is true. Am I ridiculous to say that I think they might win 9 games and maybe compete for a playoff spot?
I don't think you're ridiculous. I'm not that optimistic, but I have had a couple people on my sports show up here say the exact same thing, that they think Cleveland legitimately can contend for a playoff spot. It's going to be very interesting to see how quick they pull the plug and put in Baker Mayfield, who looked pretty darn good in preseason. But again, I think it's the defense that has improved more than anything, and I don't think you're nuts, Paul. Maybe a little crazy, but not nuts.
Who can compete with New England in the AFC East?
Nobody.
Okay.
Next question. Okay. Maybe, and I say maybe Miami because, Tannehill is a guy that kind of flies under the radar. They do have some weapons down there, but I don't think there's anybody that really has a chance to knock off New England. The Jets are, with a rookie quarterback, and who knows what's going to happen in Buffalo, a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. A lot of people forget that, but I don't think anybody's going to knock off New England, at least not yet.
Andrew, who I'm playing against in fantasy football this week, had Carson Wentz in his lineup, and like an idiot, I sent him a message telling him to change his lineup. Was I dumb for doing that?
I think so. I love when people forget about who's in their starting lineup. So I apologize for mentioning that, Paul, but I'm sure your team is stacked. You got no worries.
I'll be fine. Last question for you before we let you get out of here. Rumor has it that you are awaiting to find out who the winner is of the Mario Impemba Rod Allen throwdown yesterday or 2 days ago, and you are taking on the winner for the undisputed media fighting champion of Michigan. Scott Nation, is that true?
I cannot confirm nor deny those rumors. It's funny you say that because I literally just saw that story about a half hour ago, and I was watching that game when all of a sudden a couple broadcasters that we're not used to seeing together were there, and I guess a little rumble in the press box.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened up here, Paul, to be quite honest.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. Scott, where can our listeners get more from you, sir?
You can go to our sports show, The Game, and you can find it at thegamesportshow.podbean.com.
Trey, are you able to add Mr. Nason into our elimination pool? Can we add Scott into this?
Yes.
Scott Nason, I need you to pick one team to win this week. We're going to do a weekly elimination pool. It doesn't matter who you pick. If you lose, you'll still be in. You just won't get a point. We're gonna do it based off of a point system. So I need you to pick one winner this week in the NFL, Scott Nason.
Give me New Orleans at home against Tampa Bay.
Good pick.
All right.
Great minds think alike,
All right. We'll give Scott a round of applause for that. Where can our listeners hear more from you, my friend?
Once again, you can find it at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. I love the double plug, Paul.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, anytime you want more plugs for your show, you just come see us. We'll take good care of you.
I appreciate that, and if you have any plugs for my hair, I'd appreciate those too.
We can't work miracles, man. I'm not just the president. I'm also a member. Scott Nason, everyone, thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care. There you go, Scott Nason. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Tina will join us. We got to do traffic. We'll talk a little more football. Then Mitch Tischler going to join us. Talk a little Redskins. We'll get JW back in here, and Andrew and Trey will try to convince Mitch that he should switch his allegiance to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's all coming up next on The Drive.
Carrying the message to other sports junkies.
It's intoxicating.
This is